What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC, and with the end of the year coming up, I thought it'd be fun to do a recap of 2022 subscriptions. Each subscription I'm going to do a top so many of each item that I received, and so for Gondek EDC Hank of the Month Club, I'm going to do top 4 because there's only 1 item per month. I might do a little bit more for the ones that receive 2 or 3 items per month, but I'm going to stick to 4 for Gondek EDC. If you're not familiar, for $10 a month, their Hank of the Month Club will send you a unique Hank that they don't sell in their store and they don't end up re-releasing, so this is the only place that you can get it. Super good value and a lot of fun each month. So number 4 was a really tough one. Of course, the last one on the list is always super tough because there were definitely a couple others that were vying for this position. And I thought about doing an honorable mention, something like that, but then at that point, why not just make a top 5 or a top 6, and then you're doing half of the year. And so really tried to limit myself with these 4. And so for number 4, I went with July 2022. And I should mention the Hanks don't really have names, so I'm just referring to them as the month. I've kind of nicknamed them myself as I refer to them, but I'm gonna try and give the month for each of these. So this was July 2022, and it's got kind of a fish tank pebble or shattered glass look to it, and all of those pieces are red or blue on a white background. So it's still got that kind of red, white, and blue vibe for 4th of July, but without just throwing fireworks on there or throwing a flag on there. And so like they kind of stuck with those colors while doing something a little bit more abstract. And so I think this one looks really good. And one other thing that I really like about it is that the pattern doesn't repeat at all on this Hank, which means that the total pattern is larger than the Hanks, which should mean that each one of these is going to be unique based on where they cut it and where they sewed it off. And you're going to get a little bit of variation. And so you might have one that you like better, one that you like worse. But if you're comparing it next to a friend that received the same Hank, it's not going to be the exact same Hank. You'll be able to tell the difference, hopefully. And so really like that, and I think it's just kind of abstract and still really striking. It looks really, really good, and it kind of stands out next to just about anything. And so I like that one a lot. At number 3, I went with June 2022, so 1 month before that. And this one is kind of a boardwalk / summer plaid vibe to it, and like a few different things about it. One is that it just transports you to summer right when you see it. It just immediately kind of recognize that as a summer thing, and it's the first thing I think of. The next thing is that it seems to be a bunch of different materials that they took, cut up, and sewed together in kind of a quilt style vibe, which I think would be really cool, by the way, if one day they did a quilt with 9 different images or 9 different fabrics and did that as the Hank of the Month. It seems like it would work really well, but like that about it. It gives it a little bit of texture to it too, so it's not completely flat. So a little bit of more of a dynamic look to it. And then the last thing, which probably moved it from 4 to 3 for me, is that immediately every time I see it, I just think of my dad. I didn't think of it when I was doing the unboxing, but when I showed my wife the next day, she's like, oh, that looks like every shirt your dad wears, every shirt in his wardrobe. And so it just kind of makes me think of it, which is really cool. And so it just has that nostalgia for me that kind of vaulted it up a spot. Now next up at number 2, I went with April of 2022, and this one is just an immediately recognizable image that stands out as soon as you see it. You can call it all about the Benjamins, $100 bill, cash, whatever you want to call it. It just has a really, really striking image, and it's something that kind of evokes a certain feeling in you as soon as you see it. You see it and it reminds you of like these mafia movies, or even maybe the American dream of, I just started a business this year, so you're dreaming of making money for yourself and not working to make someone else rich. And so it just immediately gets you thinking. It's this striking image that's everyone recognizes. Even if they're not from America, most people recognize American money because it's in so many different movies that play all around the world. And so just a really cool one. I actually had a wallet made out of this fabric, which is another benefit of the Hank of the Month Club, is that you can use any leftover fabric to make pouches. And so I had the Ranger wallet made out of this fabric. If you're not subscribed, unfortunately you can't do that. So if you just see the video and like the fabric, you can't reach out to them and have you make a pouch. But if you are subscribed and you email them or you submit an order under the same email that you're subscribed with, they will make it if they have leftover fabric. And at number 1, this one was actually a really easy choice, and it's the one that when I put it in videos, I get the most comments of where can I get that, or this person in my life would love it, or I love it because I used to play it all the time as a kid, and that is of course May 2022, which has the Clue board on it. And so the board game ones are always super popular from them. I have a Scrabble one as well, which was not from Hank of the Month Club, and then they did a Monopoly one, which is pretty much what convinced me to sign up for the Hank of the Month Club. I saw it on someone's post in Instagram, saw the Gondek EDC tag, and basically subscribed immediately. And so really, really cool image, and I think just super fun. I hope they do more different board games. Obviously, they can't do them too often. There's only so many super iconic board games. Obviously, there's probably an infinite number of non-iconic board games, but of the classics, I think they're extremely fun. This one is going to be really exactly the same for everyone because they're super centered, probably pretty hard to find. I'm not sure if they've custom printed this fabric themselves or if they found one that had just a repeat of the Clue board games, but either way, super cool, and by far my favorite this year. It wasn't really close. 2, 3, 4 were super close, and even outside of that were super close for me, but immediately when I knew I was doing this video, I knew I was going to go with Clue with number 1. But let me know what you think down in the comments below, if I ranked them correctly, if there's any that I didn't put on my top 4 that I should have, or if these are your same top 4 just in the wrong order. One thing that I thought was kind of interesting, which I'm pretty surprised by honestly, because when I think about it, I think, oh, last month was really strong, or the month before was really strong, and there's a sort of recency bias. These were all 4 months in a row: April, May, June, July, obviously in a different order, but it was a 4-month block that I got my 4 favorite Hanks of the year. So I thought that was interesting. All kind of summer Hanks. But again, let me know what you think in the comments. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. They all help the channel a ton. And as always, I hope you have a great one. Take care.